Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Welcome to another edition of Schuck on a Truck, the Zoom edition. Still a little too cold outside to be sitting on the tailgate. You know, there's still some ice on the ground, at least where we are. But my guest is nice and cozy today. No ice on the ground down in Texas, where Quincy High School legend, Hall of Famer, all-time great shooter, and Illinois State alum, Kyle Cartmill is joining us today. What's up, bud?
Hey, just getting through all this this pandemic life, and just trying to make it as best as possible.
I see you're repping the Redbirds today.
Always, it's game day, so game day I try my best to make sure I wear Redbird stuff and Blue Devil stuff all the time. So my closet I have a red section and a blue section. That's pretty much it.
Well, the Shuck on a Truck Zoom edition brought to you by Refreshment Services Pepsi. Okay, so you mentioned a red section, a blue section. Do people around Texas where you're at, obviously they probably get Redbirds. People have probably heard of Illinois State. Do anybody catch on to the Blue Devil theme?
Honestly, I get more people that recognize the Blue Devils than Illinois State, to be honest. So I don't know how many people I run into is like, wait, are you from Quincy? Are you a Blue Devil? So I do get a lot of people, a lot of recognition, and most of the time they're like, do you remember Bruce Douglas? That's usually the first thing they go to.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's actually a lot of recognition here. A lot of people from Quincy here too, to be honest.
Really? That's
Yes.
Interesting. Well, it's funny. One of the years I was covering Mizzou, I was at the Big 12 tournament, and we're in the hospitality room, and a guy from the Austin American-Statesman newspaper overheard that I was from Quincy, and he goes, "Do you know Bruce Douglas and Michael Payne?" Like, well, actually, yes, I actually do. But it's amazing how Quincy basketball travels.
Yes.
Yeah. So how is life down in Texas?
Oh, fantastic. So nothing I can complain about. So
Yeah.
Family's doing good. Job obviously doing good. Most everybody's in good health. So it's fantastic.
I know you get back to Quincy every now and then, but how long have you been in Texas?
Been in Texas this will be 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so as soon as I graduated, I was moving out. So graduated in May, moved down in July.
Okay. Even though you're a little far away from home and from Illinois State, you still stay on top of everything. Like you said, you checked out the Blue Devils last night, Tuesday night's game.
Yes. So NFHS, fantastic. Love it. So I got my subscription last year, kept it. So I watch any game that comes up on.
If there's a benefit of the pandemic, and I don't know if anybody would actually look at the pandemic as any benefits, but that would be it, because we get to see games online now.
Absolutely. And any games I miss, I can always go back and just watch them. If they're not live, I can just go to the archives and check them out. So kind of have to, because, I'm trying to check on my little cousin to see how he's doing as well. So I got to definitely support.
What'd you think of his three-point shooting prowess last couple weekends?
Yeah, so started in Lincoln and then the game after that. So he's started the game up with a three-pointer. So yeah, I mean, it's there. So I know I've seen him work out. I know it's there. So, if he has an opportunity to use it, it's within the flow of the offense and what the coach wants, then hey, have confidence and pull
it. And he's got to live up to the name, right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean,
no pressure.
I mean, Cartmill, I would say that name, because we've had a lot of good players come there, and I think he's honestly athletically and as far as ball handling, a lot of his skill set. I mean, he's on the top. I wish I had those ball handling skills and his defensive skills when I was his age, because I was doing none of that.
You had some other skills though, and it kind of, your name came up recently a couple different times as far as three-point shooting. As Jeremiah Talton has broken some of the records recently, the career record, the single season record, and he had a great game at Lincoln where he made 8, so he's on the single game list. What was it about you and your career that led to you becoming a good three-point shooter?
Honestly, I'm really not sure. I think it was always when I was younger, my dad took me to this court. I remember I couldn't even tell you where it's at now. It's just some court that was just obscure, just like a basket on a pole. But they had a 3-point line, like an NBA 3-point line painted on there. It was the first court I've ever been that had a 3-point line. I kind of fell in love with it from there, where I kind of was able to gauge the distance, and then that's kind of where I wanted to shoot, and trying to be impressive to be able to shoot a little further out. I was kind of telling my wife, though, I feel like when I have viewed some of the games, though, I didn't shoot as many 3-pointers as I thought I did. It seemed like I went to the basket a lot. But it's just some games that just happen.
Well, I think that's where the game has changed a lot. I think, yes, you had the 3-pointer, but at that point in time, it was still attack the basket, right, see what you can do off the dribble. 3-pointer wasn't as sexy back then as it is now.
Right. And a lot of offenses that they run in college and in college, the pros, high school, are really based around the 3-point shot. Because right now, that's just, like you said, it's the sexy shot. And, when you get into analytics and all that other stuff, they really push taking the 3-point shot over certain long range, mid range shots just based off of percentage wise and the return on what you on the shot. So I definitely understand that, but I definitely give kudos to Jeremiah. I love watching him shoot because it's a beautiful thing to begin with. It just looks the same every single time he shoots it, just straight up and down. It's perfect. And I mean, if he does miss a shot, I'm like, the next one's dropping.
Well, it was funny. I asked him against Alleman, he missed his first 2 shots. Mm-hmm. And going in, he was 7 short of breaking the single season record. And so Andy Douglas had told me before the game, we're getting him the record tonight. Doesn't matter. We're getting him the record. So he goes out and misses his first 2 shots. And in my head, I'm thinking, maybe you will, maybe you won't. And then he hits his next 5 shots. Right. He just needed one to drop to get that rhythm. Right. And he and I have talked about that. Is that true? When one drops, do you get that rhythm?
Yeah, you just need to see the ball go through the rim. So you hear a lot of times where they'll say, your coaches will say, give a shot real close, or at least get to the free throw line so you can see the ball go through the rim. And then it's like it unlocks you mentally to where it's like, okay, in this case, I am able to make a basket. And from that point on, once you see one go through the rim, and especially if it's just one of those shots in the flow of the game, and it just feels good. Like I tell my stepson, it's like you get to the point to where you feel like you're locked in. And it's like, it reminds me of like when I used to watch Top Gun, and they used to have the little thing that used to go around, and you hear and it would lock onto the plane. That's how it feels. So
you've had a chance, I know, to watch this year's team multiple times. What do you like about this team when you watch it?
The energy level. I think the fact that defensively they get after it. I think the fact that they do set a pace that I think is fun to be able to watch them go up and down the court. Obviously, the youth is very exciting. So, I mean, when you're looking at, obviously, Brad Lonkar third, you have Keyshawn Thomas, and then I think Dominique Clay is also going to be a pretty good player. And some of the other people that are underneath it, I think you have a really solid team that's set for the future. And I know when Andy took the job, that was really important for him to actually set up the program to where it starts at the lower levels to the little level programs and bring it up. And now you're seeing the fruits of the labor.
Talking with Kyle Cartmill here on Schuck on the Truck, the Zoom edition, brought to you by Refreshment Services Pepsi. You grew up as a Blue Devil from the lower levels on, wanting to be a Blue Devil in that. How important is it to get involved for the youth, to get involved and want to be a Blue Devil?
Super important. One, because I think being a Blue Devil, being a Blue Devil it's a culture and it's a state of mind. And I was fortunate when I was young that my mom snuck me into Jerry Leggett's camp when I was a year short of being actually meeting the minimum age for it, and learned to be a Blue Devil from Coach Leggett. And that was just tremendous time being able to be around the Blue Devils, who I always idolized. To this day, I think I can tell you the number and starting lineup of every Blue Devil lineup that's ever played. But I think it's really important to get into the system and to be able to get part of the culture, because it just makes for a stronger program when you get to the varsity level. It makes a seamless transition.
What do you remember about your career when you look back at that and go, man, that was a great moment, or that was a great thing that happened? Are there memories that jump out at you?
Honestly, one of the memories I have the most, there's probably two. Just playing with the guys that I grew up with, My senior year, that was a blast because we came up through the whole Little Devil program, and then our senior year, it was just on. That's how we looked at it. My first year playing with Leper and Millsap, Wagner, Dean, and those guys, and I was telling Leper the other day, I was like, it's hard to believe that it was 30 years ago that we were teammates. Like, that is just scary. But honestly, one of the things that really stick out to me the most wasn't even something that happened that necessarily was me. It was the day Jim Flynn got 33 points against Moline. That was like the biggest thing. And I remember looking up the board and saw he had 27. I'm like, nah, this assist right here, or this 3-pointer, it's going to Jim. He's knocking out 30 today. so that's one of the biggest things I remember is when Jim ended up getting 33 against Moline. It's a huge memory that I think about quite a bit.
Jim was a pretty good 3-point shooter himself.
Yes, yeah, he was.
Did you two ever go back and forth and have any little in-game contest or any in-game wagers on who was going to be the better shooter that night?
No, not really. So we played together so long, and we just fed off each other so well. Jim was just amazing inside-outside threat to where, I mean, he could get you down low and just work you inside and then step out the three, and another beautiful shot that was just that he just had, and it was just a lot of fun playing with him and the rest of those guys.
As you look back now, and your Quincy High career ended up being a Hall of Fame career, then you go on to Illinois State. Do you remember what it was during that recruiting process that drew you to Illinois State?
It was the culture, really. I mean, I would say when I went up there and I met the guys were a lot like me. So I would say that. Coach Stalling was a lot like Coach Wallace, with a little bit more of a foul mouth, which I think everybody probably knows now. But I think that was the thing. So other places I took a visit to, I didn't feel – it felt kind of cliquey, especially at the bigger schools. It felt like really cliquish, and there's just separate groups that kind of did their own thing, and there really wasn't that cohesiveness between them off the court. So Illinois State just had it all. And it just happened to be closer to home, which honestly, it really wasn't a big thing because I was okay going away from home, but right. I mean, it just worked out that way.
When you look at a kid like Jeremiah Talt, who's getting Division I interest and going through the recruiting process now, what kind of advice would you give one of these kids that's in that position now when they're looking at colleges from a guy who played in college basketball?
When you're looking at colleges, I would say first, take your time and just kind of assess, whether that team actually plays a style of basketball that you like, that actually fits you, where you'll fit into the program, where you fit into the offense and defense. When you have your conversations with the coaches, really ask them about where they see you at, not only just initially coming in, but also down the line. You also have to like the school. So I know it's a lot different now with the transfer portal, where if you don't like the school, people can escape. It drives me crazy, but I mean, you definitely want to be comfortable with the guys that you're going to be around. And then, you want to make sure that what you're being told and what you're going into, you're going in with your eyes wide open and you know it exactly what's going to happen, instead of being surprised when you get there and someone try to change you into something that you're not.
I know you still watch a lot of basketball. How much do you still enjoy the game?
Oh, a lot. I mean, I play quite a bit, so I still play. I'm kind of coming off some knee surgery, so I'm not playing quite to the level that I want to play at. Yeah. So the playing I'm doing right now is just really half court, but I'm really trying to work up to play with this group of guys that looks like they're pretty good. So in my mind, that's kind of what I'm working for. Yeah. Be able to compete at that level, still at almost 45 years old. So I love the game. So it's where I go if I'm stressed. It's giving me a lot of peace, giving me a lot of opportunity over the years, and I'm thankful for it because it's really given me the life that I've had.
Those knees and those knee surgeries come with age, don't they?
They do. I mean, I went 44 years before I had to have a knee surgery. So, and it wasn't really anything major. So I'm blessed, but it does take toll on you, and then old age and picking up a little bit of weight also it does it as well. So
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Can't get off the floor like I used to. So,
how much fun do you still have playing?
Oh, I have a blast. I try to, like, my stepson, whenever he sees me play, it's like, you're completely different on the court than you are off the court. So it's like, you're completely nice off the court, but then once you step over the line, it's like, I can't really, he didn't say it, but you're just completely very competitive and really dialed in. So, I mean, it's just a switch that I think all of us have at a certain level. When you get to a certain level, you have to have a switch to turn it on and turn it off. And I still use it whenever I need to, but I love it. I mean, I love the competition, love just being out there and being active. And,
yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Do you still see lessons that you learned from your coaches, whether it was at Quincy or at Illinois State, that come through your life that maybe you can pass on to your stepson?
Oh, every day. Every day. So we used to have a saying at Illinois State that, learn from the mistakes of others because you won't have enough time in your life to make them all yourself. And I try to impart that to him, like, hey, you don't have to make all these mistakes in order to learn from them. You can see other people doing that and then learn from that. So just be observant and, try to be an upstanding person and someone that's respectful. And that's just one of the many things that we get. I mean, we used to have to do before practice, it was a thought of the day before every practice, and you had to memorize it. And if you didn't, you got called on, everybody paid. So, so those things kind of stick with you, but I do use some of those things, and they are very relevant to this day.
Does your stepson have game?
He does. So I think this is just kind of a different age where back before video games and things of that nature, where you dedicated a lot more time to playing basketball and practicing, where sometimes you want to dedicate some time for video games or, some other things, but he's already about 6 foot at age 12. He's probably only going to get bigger. Well, not probably, he is going to get bigger. He's wearing a size 13 shoe, but he does. So I think once he tries to put the whole package together and work on a few minor things, that I think he'll be a phenomenal player.
Can he take you yet?
Nah. So we actually played, I think, a few weeks ago, and he finally scored on me. It was the first time he scored on me in his life.
Okay.
So, he was really geeked up about that.
Will the day come he will be able to take you, or are you going to make sure that doesn't happen?
My uncle taught me that when they get close to beating you, it's time to retire. So that way you go out on top. so nah, it's not gonna happen. I've even told him too. I was like, hey, when you get close, I said, if that day comes where you get close to beating me, you'll never play me again.
That's fun. It's fun though. They keep you young, don't they?
Yeah, it does.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey man, this has been wonderful. It was great to catch up with you. Talk a little Blue Devil basketball and Illinois State basketball, and just glad to hear you're doing great and the family's doing great.
Well, thank you. You too. And hopefully I get a chance to see you sometime in the future, maybe at a game or something. So I'll have to stop by and chat with you.
That would be awesome. Hey, for Kyle Cartmill, I'm Matt Schuckman. This has been another Schuck on a Truck Zoom edition brought to you by Refreshment Services Pepsi.
We get out, fired up, hook big ones. We get out and rip it. And we track them down. So crack a Mountain Dew. Get out and do.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.